How's everyone doing out there? It is 12120. Hold on, 1212225, December 12th, 2025. Wake Up Justin on YouTube. It's like I said yesterday. It's like anyone with like new ideas or a new face or someone who wants to push the needle forward of people's thoughts in America and what people think and what people's say. They rake you over the coals of history to test you to see what comes out the other end, and that's not, you can't do that, dude. I was born in the late 80s, and I wasn't around for the history of the world and World War Ones and World War Twos and Civil Wars and stuff like that. I wasn't around for that. So to rake people over the coal with new ideas who want to push the movement forward, and to rake people over coals over past things and past traumas like that isn't fair to people coming into the space new, who are trying to just get a voice out there and opens people's minds and stuff like that. And like, it's even the media we consume, the things we watch. I resell movies on the side for just for a little extra cash, and I resell media on the side. And I used to watch all these movies, and I mean, I don't mind movies. I'm not dogging against movies, but I had a rule. Where I would only watch older movies, just for the fact that well, one, they're not heavily CGI'd. They're not green screen. They're not made from computer programs, nothing like that. So when you see someone do a stunt or whatever, it's actually someone doing a stunt. If a car does a barrel roll off Terminator 2 when they're in the chase scene through the water, whatever things in Los Angeles, whatever, and the semi's hitting things, and Arnold Schwarzenegger's on his motorcycle with the sawed off, whatever. Like, those are people actually doing that. They didn't have CGI back then, and computer graphics to be able to imitate that chase scene. Someone actually had to do those things. That's why I think older movies are better, and older movies hold more weight and are more memorable, because people realize it's actually people doing those stunts. It's not fake. It's not phony. There are no green screens. It's someone actually jumping a car off a bridge. It's someone actually skydiving. All those things. So that's why I like older movies. And also too, I believe that like older movies back in the day, they let people's imaginations run wild, and they weren't throttling creators' imaginations that made movies and stuff like that. So kind of expanded the mind and the consciousness of people that would watch them, especially older sci-fi movies. Older sci-fi movies. I've seen some older sci-fi movies before, at the concepts of them and stuff like that. Like, it would, even though it's silly and it's a sci-fi, it's not real, whatever. Just like thinking the way they thought and like built a whole movie and a whole story around like a new idea and a new thought, whether it was silly or not, it doesn't matter. It's like someone has to take the first step and lead in that direction. And even though it's silly and it's implausible, whatever, it's like just someone having that idea and putting it out there, then it's out there for everyone else to like take and gather. I forget what movie it is, but there's a movie where it's like the world has like a nuclear fallout or whatever, and they have like oracles, and they send a guy back into time to try to fix the fallout, but you can only go back once in time. So like time travel, they explain time travel in that movie as like we can time travel, but you can only go back in time one time, but you can only go back to a certain time and date one time. So like if you go back like December 11th, 2025 at 10:49, you can never go back to that same time again at 10:49. You have to go to like 10:48 or 10:47. And then once you do that, those times are done for. So like if you wanted to go, see Abraham Lincoln speak the Gettysburg Address, whatever, like you can only go once you went to the very start of it. You can never go back to the very start of it because you already did it one time. So you only get one chance to travel back in time to a certain frame point in time, whatever. and if you mess it up, you have to come back and you go back a second later, so things get pushed back further. It's an interesting movie, but just like, even though it's a silly idea and like a silly concept, whatever, it's like just someone having a thought and creating that and stuff like that, like puts it in your mind and like kind of expands your mind a little bit and gets you thinking. I think that's what those kind of movies and why that kind of movies and stuff like that, media, are important, because it expands and pushes the human consciousness a little forward, even though it's a silly idea and it's sci-fi. It doesn't matter though. That's the point. But like nowadays, I think they don't allow that originality or like original thoughts or original concepts and things like that, just for the fact that it would expand the human consciousness and get people thinking like, hey, what, like, have you seen the movie Dark City? I mean, that's a prime example too. The Dark City movie. That movie's wild, man. It's crazy, dude. So, think about The Matrix when it first came out. The Matrix, when it first came out, I believe shot so far over target that most people that saw it in the 90s really didn't understand it. It took 10 years down the road for us to be in the age of the internet and digital media and stuff like that, for people to understand that movie. So like, even The Matrix, when it first came out, shot over target, I believe, and most people that saw it for the first time fully didn't understand it until later on at a different time. It's kind of like it's like when events happen, people get wrapped up in emotional things, and there's emotions tied to it, and do you remember where you were when this happened, and yada yada yada. And then when you kind of look back at it, it kind of has a new feel to it, because everyone isn't so wrapped up in it, and then like truths come out and we learn things like that. So you go back and view things, you have a different viewpoint at it, for the fact that time has passed and gone, and time has passed and things happen and information comes out about the event, whatever. So even like events that happen in history and stuff like that seem different when you look back at it at a different point in time. So yeah, Dead Media too. Dead Media, with them making the same movies, the same actors, the same music. I get why they do it, but once again, it's like, are they doing it on purpose, or are they doing it because they're greedy? Like, I get why you would, if you were a music studio, whatever music studios even exist nowadays, I can't even name them on the top of my head. But if you're a music studio and you had an old song that no one, and it was popular, 40, 50 years ago, and people forgot about it, well, why not just repackage that song to a new person and just sell people the same song just from a new person? You don't have to pay anyone to write the song. You don't really need to do much. You already own all the rights to it. Like, you know what I mean? It's just free. It's just free content. You're just repackaging old content with a new performer to make money off it. So it makes sense why they would do it, Same things with movies and TV shows, and recreating the same TV show over and over again, the different variants of it, or the same movies over and over again, creating different variants of it. I think Ghostbusters is a good example. I think many Ghostbuster movies have existed. But I think too, people don't realize when you create those things, like if you grow up with Ghostbusters, right, and then you see Ghostbusters all the time, and you're still seeing Ghostbusters, well, it's like dead media. You don't realize, like, since you've seen something the whole time in your life, you don't realize how much time is going by, really, Because it's like you don't realize what was going on in life, because you paint, like I said before, you paint the background of your life first, and then when your life is older, you kind of look back and see what you painted, But it's like if you're watching the same movies all the time and all those things, like you're never really painting anything different in your background. So you look back at what's going on, you don't see it because you're seeing the same things over and over again. You're seeing the same TV shows, you're hearing the same songs, you're watching the same movies. It's the same people on TV. It's the same news reporters, the same, soap operas. It's the same, whatever it is. And it creates dead media in a dead space and a dead time, where all of a sudden you look up and the show ends and you realize, oh shit, 15 years has gone by. Yeah, dead media is a crazy one. I don't think people and it's. I just don't think people think about what we do, how we do now, how it affects us in the future, because everyone's so worried about surviving and me, and living in the moment, and not living in the moment, but you know, I think a lot of people are just trying or are holding on to that survival instinct. It's fight or flight, you know, and no one's flying, everyone's fighting. That's the problem. Isn't it fight or flight? Yeah, fight or flight. There's a movie. I didn't know there was a movie called it. Yeah, fight or flight. The instinctive psychological, the instinctive psychological response to a threatening situation, which readies one either to resist forcibly or to run away. You know, everyone's in like flight mode. Everyone's running away from everything, just trying to survive. No one wants to fight anything. No one wants to stand up and try. No one wants to, you know, do better, be better, live better, eat better, work better. All those things. No one wants to do that. It's all about survival, holding on to what you have. And I think that's what a lot of people's problems are these days. Is they're just trying to survive, man. You can't do that, dude. You gotta start living. Otherwise, life's gonna pass you by. If you want to do something, do it. I always say I don't care what anyone does in life, as long as you're not harming yourself and harming others, have at it. Knock yourself silly. Because for every action there's a reaction, you know? Like, but at the same time, you know, I don't know. People are people, man. People are gonna do what people do, you know, at the end of the day. But I think people need to stop being so afraid and go out and actually do things, you know, live life, have fun, see your friends, see your family, be merry, be jolly. It is Christmas time. Even though the world's going in the shitter. That's the hardest part, like, of being and having this kind of like just awareness and knowledge and what's going on is just, you know, that's the hardest struggle, is just trying to stay positive through it all. We gotta fight. We can't just run away from problems, run away from our, you know, you can't be, I don't know. I'm definitely a futurist though, for sure. Definitely a futurist. 100%. You know, I want to live in the future. I don't want to keep on living in our past. You know, what we're doing now is going to, you know, dictate, you know, the future of humans. And it's like, also, I think people are just greedy and selfish, and they don't want to invest time into the future. They want it now. They want to see the results now. They want to see things now. You know? So I guarantee you, you know, it's probably people out there that, you know, when, you know what, you know, when Trump gave those birth or the whatever American kids $1,000 and they're, you know, starting $1,000 fund for them so when they turn 18 they can cash it out. I mean, that's a pretty smart idea, you know, even though he won't be around probably to see what happens when they get it, but I mean, it's a smart idea. You know, that's how you plant seeds for the future, and how you plant, you know, a better future. Like, would you rather have turn 18 and have, you know, 5K from someone from a president in 2025? So what, when it's 2042 and you're 18, you'll have like 5,000. Wouldn't you rather have that than have nothing? I know I would. Can you imagine when you're 18 and you get like 5K in the bank because the president in 2025 gave you $1,000 18 years ago? It makes sense. That's that kind of thinking, and like that kind of like, looking towards the future. That's what we're missing in this world. Is we don't have people looking into the future or have the foresight or the wherewithal to be able to do those kind of things, and it's weird because like the more you slow down in life, like the more you take your time, you stop and smell the roses, the more like you talk slower, you walk slower and things like that. It's almost like the better your life gets. If you slow down your life a little bit, trust me, if you slow down your life a little bit, things will change. They really will. Not only if you slow down because once you slow down your life a little bit, and the way you act, the way you move, the way you talk, it gives you more time to think about also what you're doing. People are such in a rush and such in a hurry to do everything because who knows why. I think, like I said, I know for a fact when I've been in a rush before and been in a super hurry or been late to work, whatever. And what happens? You start moving around really fast. You get in your car. You're driving really fast, and like you being in that kind of state and that kind of rush, you're more likely to get in an accident or do something stupid if you just took your time in the first place and slow down a little bit, and let your mind play catch up to your body. That's what slowing down your life does for you. It lets your mind play catch up to your body. Because, like I said, your mind is the most powerful computer, the most powerful, thing you have in your arsenal of you. My arsenal of Justin, the most powerful thing I have is my brain. But your brain can outthink and outpace your body all day long. I can only run so fast, but my mind can race a mile a minute. So if your mind is racing a mile a minute, your body doesn't have time to catch up to how it's reacting, and then your body's trying to move as fast as your mind is, and then you're all jittery. You're all like, "Oh my God, let's go! We gotta go!" Type thing. I see it happen. It happens all the time. So you gotta like slow down your life a little bit. You gotta stop and smell the roses. You gotta be still like water, like Bruce Lee said. Still like water. Didn't Bruce Lee say that? Yeah, be water, my friend. Emphasize the importance of the ability to flow in life. It's just that water can take a shape, and we have to adapt various situations and challenges. The philosophy encourages a mindset of flexibility and resilience, allowing one to navigate life's obstacles with ease and grace. Yeah, man, and water itself has different states. You have calm water, you have still water, you have rushing water, you have falling water. So he's right. That's what I like about life, man. It's interesting. You can, like I said, you can live in two different worlds at the same time, man. You can live in the spiritual world, you can live in the world of the flesh and blood and your body and everything. It's kind of crazy actually when you think about it, because you really can. You can totally live in two different worlds at the same time. Just a lot of people live to choose to live in this one, because this is like. Yeah, I think what did I read one time where it's like all realms and all realities exist in this moment in time, but we choose to live in the moment in time right now because it's the most like fun for us. It's the most real reality we have. That's why everyone comes here. That's why all things come here, because it's the most vibrant, the most physical, the most 3D like thing we have. 78, where you want to call it, all those realms, everything exists, but like we choose to be here because it's the most fun. It's where we have fun. But we lost that. We lost the fun side of ourselves and put ourselves in like a prison almost, in a way. Either we done it to ourselves or someone's done it to us. I'm not talking about races or sexes or whatever like that. I'm talking about the whole as humanity, as humans on Earth. I'm a futurist, you know. We gotta start looking at bigger picture items and bigger picture things instead of dividing ourselves between yada 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 and blah 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 blah. You know, we're never ever going to be able to traverse the cosmos and go to different planets and stuff like that if we can't even get along with each other here on Earth. We think what? You think we're going to start living on Mars and everyone's going to start getting along more? We just going to carry the same bullshit over to Mars? Can you imagine living on Mars and still talking about shit that happened in the fucking 1800s? You're gonna have me, you're gonna have people like me doing live streams, but instead of on Earth, it's gonna just be in Mars on a red planet. You know what I mean? And still be talking about the same shit and doing the same stuff. That sounds like a great time, doesn't it? Yeah, let's go live on Mars so we can go censor ourselves more online. Yeah, sounds great. Sign me up. You're on Mars, but you have Tucker Carlson still running the shitty podcast, you know. I only know a handful of people on, like, I only know a handful of streamers, like, in that kind of realm of, like, political, human and, like, religious type things, whatever. I only know a handful. And that's very small. And I could care less what they have to say, either. I feel like a lot of these people online and a lot of people like that are just plants. You know, they're almost all too movie star looking to be real people too. The more I think about it, like the people that stream that are really popular on YouTube and Twitch and stuff like that, whatever, like they're almost too good looking to be regular people. They look like movie stars almost, and that's what kind of sets the alarm off, you know, a little bit. I'm not saying all of them are, because honestly, people go viral, and people break through the veil, or people break through the glass ceiling and become popular. Don't get me wrong. You know, I don't think the burnt peanut who plays Arc Raiders, you know, is part of the system or an actor. You know, I mean, that's just some guy who found his niche and made it is what it is. You know, shout out to Burnt Peanut. I see you out there. Keep doing your thing, man. Because people still need laughter in the world. People still need escapism in the way to get out of it, you know. It's like Burnt Peanut and those type of guys that made the content. I respect them for the fact, like, people need those kind of things in society still to kind of escape reality a little bit. I'm not saying to live in it all the time, you know, or like watch the stream, you know, 7 hours. But to watch it for an hour and a half or 30 minutes just to get your mind off things, whatever, you know, I don't see anything wrong with that. You know what I mean? What's wrong with it is if you don't moderate yourself and you're bed rotting and watching the Burnt Peanut 24/7. That could be a problem. No offense, Mr. Peanut, but I think he would agree also. So I don't think that'd be a problem. He's funny though. I like the guy. He's funny. He definitely plays the role really well, and you know, it's all just role playing. That's all it is. It's just role playing. It's just knowing who you are, and finding your voice, and then taking it and turning it to 11. You know, I used to watch wrestling a lot. I haven't watched it in a very long time, but I grew up on wrestling. I probably was still watching wrestling 3 or 4 years ago, not like religiously, but on and off. You know, I never Stone Cold back in the day, but they asked, you know, how did you become Stone Cold Steve Austin? He's like, oh, I found out who I was, and I found out my voice, and I took that and turned that son of a bitch up to 11. That's all he did. He figured himself out and just cranked it to 11. That's all life is. You want to have a voice online. You want to become popular and have people watch you and stuff like that. Find out who you are, find your voice, and then crank that shit up to 11 and see how much it changes. Because you gotta be more animated, you know. Like if I sat here all day in a chair and was just like, so today, on stream, we're gonna watch videos, and then I might say something, but it's gonna be like once every 30 minutes. Or I'm going, oh my god, you guys see that shit? Holy cow, dude, I can't believe that guy just did that. Are you kidding me? You know, like, you gotta be animated, you gotta give people something to watch, especially when you're talking in front of a camera. You know, imagine I just sat perfectly still the whole time, just wide open, my eyes wide open, looking at the camera, and be like, "Hey guys, so today," you know, like people be like, "What the hell's wrong with this guy?" Some guy at work yesterday, we were talking, whatever, and I was like, "Yeah, I don't like the limelight, dude. I don't like attention." He's like, "Yeah, coming to some guy with a podcast and a YouTube channel, you don't like the attention?" I really don't, though. That's the thing. This just gives me something to do in the morning. It gives, I like doing it. It's fun. It keeps me on routine. It gives me a purpose. It gives me a drive, and I like doing it at the end of the day. So I really don't care if someone, I've been doing this for months on YouTube. Trust me. I stream a lot on YouTube. Let's see here. Where's my channel at? Where's the channel? Oh, Xbox available. Okay. Lives. Look at this. So I've been streaming for like almost 2 months now, right? And my biggest stream was when I streamed I streamed Arc Raiders for 3.5 hours, and that's my highest video with 14 views streaming online on YouTube. So tell me I like attention. I don't care, dude. Even before I was doing this, this one has 16 actually. Even before I was doing this, I would still make video journals and daily video journals on my PC just to log my thoughts and my daily stuff. So like even if I wasn't live streaming or making YouTube content, guess what? I still be making daily vlog videos. So I would still be doing it. I just wouldn't be posting online. It'd be more private, But we're coming for it, man. We're doing it. We're doing it, man. When I hit Rumble and I get running on Rumble, and the feet get going and we start moving and grooving, man. Trust. We might take off. And then people are like, where did this kid come from? Where did this kid come from? People are like, where did he come from? This is gonna happen. They're like, where did he come from? Because like I'll be a new kid on the block, but I have the it factor of obviously I've been doing it for a while. To be able to come on stream, to be able to talk like this and act like this and like move like this, and it's obviously evident that I've been doing this for quite some time. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do this right now. And I just talk for almost an hour straight without a break, or a pause, or just nothing in between, or just, oh man, I don't know, So obviously I've been doing this for a while. It's self-evident, I don't either. But when I move on, I think when I go to Rumble for the first time, there, you see that thing just fall right there in front of me? You see that? No? No one else? I don't think that was dust. I don't have any dust around me. I think when I move to Rumble, though, the first stream is going to be, like, getting to know me, who I am, my history, and things like that. Because, like I said, I've been doing this for a long time, man. I'm making videos and content for a very long time. I've just gone unnoticed. But now that I found my voice and who I am and what I need to do and stuff like that, we're going to take off like a rocket ship, baby. The future's here. The future's here. And it's going to be broadcasted. I'm a futurist and opportunist. Free speech for all. Big, free speech should never die. It should always exist, no matter who's talking or what they're saying. And it doesn't even if you censor free speech, it doesn't even matter because it's out in the consciousness, it's out in the human consciousness, you know, ionosphere or whatever you want to call it. It's out there, and anyone can grab it and download it. It's just you need to know how to do it and when to do it. You know, the human consciousness itself is kind of like, you know, internet in a way. I believe the internet and like AI and everything is definitely a mimic of human and like human consciousness and all that kind of stuff mixed into one. 'Cause it's like, even, you know, if you're online on a Friday night at, you know, 7:30, 8 o'clock, and there's a big storm and everyone's snowed in, it's like that. Like, you know, obviously your internet's going to work a little slower just for the fact that everyone's using it at the same time. Same thing with the human consciousness. You know, if you're up, you know, everyone's up around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You know, so if you're trying to like get ideas and think about things at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you're probably not going to get much downloads just for the fact that everyone's using the human consciousness. That's why they always say if you want to, you know, be creative, you got to do it late at night, early in the morning. You got to do it when people are sleeping. You got to do it when people are sleeping, basically, which is late night, early morning, because no one's really up that early and everyone's sleeping at night. So if you want to like be creative and get ideas and like meditate and do things, your best time is to do it when people aren't awake. Less thoughts, you know. Everyone's in the dream world. So the human consciousness connection is less. It's true. Me, I'm just a weirdo. But also too, it's like how you eat and working out and all those things also play a big role in it all too, because your body is like the receiver of things, and the more better and the more clean your connection is to the human consciousness, the more you can get out of it. You know, it's your vibration, I guess, kind of. You know, low vibrations, you know, you're gonna get you're low vibration, you're gonna get low information, you know. The more you sacrifice, the more you eat healthier, the less you drink, the less you smoke, and all those things, that, you know, the higher knowledge and the higher consciousness you can receive. For the fact you're ascending, you know, you're ascending up to it. Your vibration isn't so low. And then through that, you know, like if you know what you want out of life, and you start doing things to make your life in that kind of way, well, you're naturally going to attract those things to you that you want, just by being a better you and knowing what you want, you know. What if you want to be, you know, if you want to be a NASCAR driver and you're very serious about it, and you start following certain things and taking certain actions and living that kind of lifestyle and getting into those kind of things, that's what you're going to start naturally attracting those things towards you. Just anything in life. It's attraction. You gotta attract things to yourself. You have to attract things. Once you start chasing stuff, it just disappears because you're chasing it, so it's running from you. You know, you gotta stop chasing objects. You gotta stop chasing things. You gotta stop chasing girls. You gotta attract them. You gotta attract the thing you want. You have to attract the life you want. You gotta attract the girl you want. Because then you actually earn it. So you get rewarded for it. Because you're working towards it. It's the law of attraction. That's how it works. Law of attraction doesn't work by you chasing it. It just runs from you when you chase. Things run from you when you chase. That's why that saying, you know, never chase a girl. Because those keep on running further and further away from you because you're chasing it. You gotta learn how to attract. You gotta attract things to you. And I think what makes someone a good speaker, and, you know, is like being able to, like I said, like, you know, me trying to explain chase and attraction, like, honestly, I have to go through it in my own personal life and have experiences about it to even talk about it in the first place and how it works. Because I practice it. That's how I know how it works. I practice it in my daily life. You know? Ooh, I want a better car. Well, guess what? How do I attract a better car? I don't know. Start finding different avenues to get money. Um, Study on, like Trump passing, the whatever the car act he passed, where you can get tax credit for buying a new car and stuff like that. You have to attract it to you. So that's my rant. I've been talking for an hour straight already. I don't know. I keep on going, but like I gotta save a little bit of the juice for Monday's stream. It's the weekend. Go out there, have some fun. Go see your family. Go see some friends. Get out of the house. Go do something. Until next time, may peace be with you. Take care of yourself. Take care of others. I'm Justin, signing off on YouTube, probably for the last time. I love you.